So the question for today are, what are some of the costly mistakes people make when they're going out to look for new constructions? I was recently visiting some new construction sites with some clients, and we were discussing what are some of the most important things that you need to be careful to avoid. So I thought I'd share them with you here today. So one of the first costly mistakes that a client can make is thinking that a builder is going to negotiate with them. Well, don't be surprised, because there are some builders that are out there that are not going to negotiate with you. The big question is, why? Well, it kind of depends on each individual builder's situation. There are some builders that are in really good financial shape, and honestly, they don't have to negotiate. They can sit on that inventory for a while. You've got some other builders not quite in that situation, and they need to start unloading the inventory faster. That's when you're going to see that they'll do some more negotiating. Also be aware that when you do new construction, the vast majority of the time, you're going to have to sign the builder's contract. And I can tell you, those contracts are designed to protect the builder. So that's why it's really important that you have a real estate agent that's there to protect you and represent you. So make sure that you always have a real estate agent travel with you to all of these new construction communities. Another thing is, you need to be aware, if you don't like what's in that contract, and you love the community, you're ultimately going to have to make a decision. Are you going to go ahead and do whatever and agree to whatever that contract says that that builder has to offer? Or you're going to say, nope, out of here, not going to follow those requirements, those kind of restrictions, and off you go. You're more than welcome to move on to another community. I want to give some bonus information here and elaborate on using your own agent. If you visit any new construction community and speak to the builder agent on site, they're generally going to have a clause that eliminates you using your personal real estate agent that you might have an interest in assisting you. So how do they get this information? Like I said, either one, you visit their actual community in person and they gather your contact information, or sometimes you might sign up on their website and be a part of their VIP list. If any of those things happen, you have relinquished your opportunity to use your own personal real estate agent. So here's something you might want to think about doing. Call these communities ahead of time, but do not give them your information. Ask if there's an opportunity to get a discount in the sales price if you do not use your own personal agent. If they state that they can reduce the sales price by X number of dollars for not using a personal agent, then go for it. But just be sure that you're confident on what to look for and the questions you need to ask along the way. And if they're not willing to reduce the price, then you might as well go ahead and have your own personal real estate agent go along with you to make sure they help you ask those very, very important questions along this new construction process. So the next costly mistake that I want to share with you that clients sometimes will encounter is not planning ahead for the unexpected expenses. So buying new construction compared to resale, a lot of times the new construction will not come with things that you need, such as fencing, ceiling fans, security system, the Ring doorbell, window blinds, curtains, all those kind of items that you typically will get with a resale home, or potentially can get with a resale home, you're not going to get with new construction. So a lot of that will cost some extra money if you want to get those in right away. So you need to plan ahead and make sure you've got some extra money set aside for those type of items. So the third costly mistake I want to talk to you about is construction timelines. So building a house does take time, and so you're going to have to make sure that you make arrangements for your current housing needs. So how long does it take to build a house? Well, quite honestly, there are a lot of variables that are involved. One is the size. Obviously, the larger the home, generally the longer it's going to take. The second thing is, what about the supplies? If supplies are readily available, then things can move along pretty quickly. If you have specialty item, custom order items, those will sometimes delay construction and will take some additional time. The other thing that you need to be aware of is subcontractors. So some of these builders, the really, really large builders, they've got subcontractors that are on their payroll. So they work exclusively for those builders. But when you go down to some of the smaller builders, more custom builders, for example, they don't necessarily have these subcontractors on their permanent payroll. So what does that mean for you? That means they're having to share subcontractors with other builders in the area. So they have to basically wait their turn. Now they try to work really hard to make sure that everything happens right in order and there are no lost days, but things happen and they have no control sometimes over those subcontractors when they show up or how they show up or any of those kind of things. So that is something that can impact the time frame of the new construction. Another thing is, maybe you're not aware, but in most counties, especially in the metropolitan Atlanta area, homes have to go through county inspections. So the builder has to put out a call to the county inspection department. They have to wait for the county inspectors to come out and give them a thumbs up on that particular property. They're going to inspect the new homes at various points through the new construction. Now, one thing that's a little bit different, if you're building in a rural area, I know that some of the rural counties in the state of Georgia, they don't have building inspectors. So the builders don't have to worry about that component because there's nobody to come around to inspect their properties. So that's also something you want to think about if you are building in a rural area, is that you know that you've got a builder that's going to give you a really good quality job because there's nobody checking up behind them within the county. The next costly mistake I want to talk to you about are upgrades. So if you're doing new construction, if you want upgrades, you might as well go for the upgrades that are going to add value to your home. So what are some of the upgrades that will do that? Well, a lot of times builders are going to cut some corners by putting carpet in some of the bedrooms because it's more cost effective. So you would want to change that up to do the laminate. Tile backsplash. Maybe you would want to go with the granite countertops. The vast majority of homes now do come with the granite countertops, but if those are not offered, that is another one of those upgrades that is definitely going to add value to your home. Another one that you might want to consider would be fencing of the backyard. To put a fence in, depending on the size of the yard, could run you $5,000, $10,000. Honestly, it depends on the size of your yard. So those are going to be some upgrades that are going to add value to your home. So when you go to resale, it's going to give you something in return. So the last costly mistake that I want to share with you is make sure you shop around for mortgage rates, okay? The vast majority of builders are going to more than likely have what they call a preferred lender, and that is somebody that they have worked with probably over a long period of time, and it's going to give them the best rate possible, and also it will maybe potentially they'll be able to assist you with closing costs. It's usually one or the other, not always both closing costs and a great interest rate. So make sure you read the fine print and you understand what you're going to be getting. Another really important thing that you need to make sure you understand if they're offering a really good interest rate, what kind of mortgage is that? Is it conventional? Is it at VA? Is it FHA? There can be some misunderstandings sometimes when a rate is advertised and you're thinking maybe it's a conventional interest rate. In reality, it might be an FHA rate. So make sure you have clarity on what kind of mortgage those particular interest rates are matching up with. And you know what? Also, just shop around on your own. And if you're using a real estate agent, almost all agents also have 1, 2, or up to 3 preferred lenders also that they deal with on a daily basis. They're on first name basis, and so they get information right away from their lenders, and their lenders will also offer frequently some really great deals. So make sure you shop around. Bottom line is you want to save as much money as you possibly can. So there you have it. Those are 5 costly mistakes to make sure that you avoid. If you are in need of a real estate agent to check out some new construction in the area, feel free to reach out to me. This is Peggy Brown with Virtual Properties.